No. So it was apparently bugged somehow. Weird. Open slots, yeah, well, names loading is definitely not working as it should. But that has been a long-term problem. Loki, that's gonna be Husksape, and El Matador is gonna be Zeus, I'm thinking. But, random guess so far, because you don't have, of course, all the information. But these load times are absolutely insane. And I'm not having, like, the old HDD. I'm having, not like the newest SSDs, but it's the SATA 3 one, so it's still pretty fast. So I'm not entirely certain what these load times are all about. Might be because of at this point lower RAM, but what do you want to be loading as much there? Like a proper 1E1. If this is already loading this way. No, not too optimistic about maybe the possibility of team games then. But again, I don't think I need to kind of worry about it too much. Nobody's gonna be wanting to watch the horrible graphics here, considering how it looks the game. So I don't think I need to be worrying about viewership or anything I will be doing. Okay, so apparently I shouldn't be saying hop before we've actually jumped over. Because it seems like it maybe the loading that was taking a long time on the previous attempt is right now gonna be just switched into different screen. Come on, not like we're having too much time. Thinking after the servers are gonna be off, you're gonna be having a look also at the Tech 3. Because I'm thinking that the game should be still launchable. Thinking that people were already having it launched before. Just the servers, of course, weren't working. They're just gonna be for the 3 hours each day. No, yeah, this is just like not loading for some reason. So always seems to be having like after like a minute or two, like a moment where this like the wheel is going off. So therefore it does load something, but then it just like begins loading something completely else. That doesn't seem too optimistic on any kind of casting here. Ah, maybe. No. Wait, what? Okay, so we are kind of in, but all kinds of weird messages actually were sent. And apparently it's gonna be lagging a lot here, but... Okay, seems like that apparently... Oh. Let's see if it's gonna be right now coming down. But definitely some pretty bad drops. And it doesn't seem like it's actually from the... No, it's not. It's not from my computer here. It's not spiking. So it's apparently the observer interface being trash. And taxing the computer. It's not even taxing the computer, it's just like simply not working in the engine well. As straight as that. You can see nothing is spiking there. This is just like trash performance. Well, that's not too great for the casting then. I guess it's gonna be some kind of extra things actually counting beyond, but for some reason, I don't know, well. By the way, can you actually get right now therefore view of both players as we do have in the original games? So what do we have? Let's therefore get rid of this. Minimap, of course, and no. So this is gonna be the same. Okay, there, map visibility. But I don't want that. Explored? Nope. I want to be seen both players as in Age of Mythology. That is such a great, actually, thing that is missing for some reason from both Age of Empires to Age of Empires 4 as well. It's just like, I don't understand why. Also interesting how they switch it into... Like, why did they switch it over 90 degrees? Just like, again, change for no reason. That's the game, plenty of them, but nonetheless, at least this one is inconsequential. No, but yeah, this is definitely not good. Okay, let's see, maybe if... Can we therefore something in the graphics going up? So what is possibly not gonna be a problem? See if you're gonna be increasing the FPS. I don't think it's gonna be having anything to do with it. But for example, in Age of Empires 4, the FPS limiter is buggy. And if you're gonna be limiting it to 30, you are going to be messing up your game. Doesn't seem to be really changing anything here. Texture quality. So if we switch into high, what does it do? Nothing much with my computer. Let's gonna maybe turn it on. Plenty of the things. Texture filter, anisotropic. That probably is gonna be right now having some effect. No, shadows are always a problem, so let's keep those off. Dynamic reflections as well. Okay, let's go high. Can be right about now keeping probably this on, just to be showcasing what kind of differences it's gonna be making. Yeah, but the problem is that I can't do anything with the stutter. That is actually something that comes from the engine and that is not like tied to my computer's performance somehow. It probably will be somehow, but it's not showing that the problem. So it's more like bad programming. Why not? The dynamic lights, no, that's probably gonna be bad. Height gradient, anti-aliasing is gonna be of course a problem. That's gonna be probably right now eating performance. It usually does. So am I gonna be ending up with basically max settings and the game is still gonna be running the same? That'd be kinda funny. Which one is the best, by the way, from the anti-aliasing? Bloom is gonna be trash. I'm gonna be turning that off, but we'll see. Medium is holding. Because it wasn't holding the high before for some reason. Yeah, it's like immediately going back to low for some reason. It doesn't allow me to go high. Okay, so this is practically like the maxed graphics that apparently I can get. Seems like GPU is not minding that too much. So maybe I would just like... I mean, I was playing on the graphics that the game recommended for me. But maybe I can just gonna play the high graphics and no problem. and would be weird, to be honest. Yeah, not definitely high details are off, but otherwise it seems to be holding pretty well. If I turn off the frames, because I'm streaming at 30 FPS anyway, so I don't need 60 at all. Even for my comfort, I'm used to be playing at 30 FPS. And all the games, so I don't care. Now, okay, so I guess that tomorrow I'm gonna be trying to play with these practically maxed settings. Because it seems like the computer is not entirely minding too much. But the spectating here is definitely minding a lot. Okay, right now that's gonna be what, crash? Well, I have seen complaints about the spectating mode and crashes last time on the closed beta. So maybe there is something with that. No, but currently we're having some interesting hang. So let's see if the computer, if it's gonna be recovering or not. Or have we reached the time and therefore the game is gonna be 27? Maybe it could be that the game is already off. And therefore that's why we're not getting the extra information. Not sure. Okay, there we go. We are back apparently in the game. Okay, right now GPU is gonna be going a bit up, because of course we are having some effects going on in the battle. But otherwise it seems like that everything else is holding. And it feels like that maybe really the RAM could be like some kind of issue as far as for the observing. Otherwise I don't think there's anything else you can improve. Texture quality again. How does it keep dropping down? What are these settings here? Otherwise everything full. This one I don't know which anti-aliasing is better. Yeah, I have no idea why this doesn't hold. Do you need to be put in save instead of apply? I don't think so. No, don't know. That seems to be somewhat bugged probably. And thank you Nostalgic for the bit. But nonetheless, at this point I guess you can be there for having a look onto the game. I've already removed that. No, okay, let's remove that for Task Manager. And have a look at what the guys are right now gonna be performing here with. So apparently we need to be playing with revealed map, because otherwise it doesn't make any kind of sense. You can probably zoom out slightly more here. For the observing. No, and we do have therefore Zeus versus Loki. Loki being Husksape, El Matador is gonna be playing with the Zeus. 7 minutes in, can say right now some early attack already has right now been performed. And are we gonna be there for some kind of good usage of Mr. INR, for example here? So far it's been microed fairly well. That's also something I haven't tested in the game and I wanted to test. Need to be definitely reducing the sounds though. And that is kind of like the auto-targeting of units, and especially of myth units. That is something I forgot to test, I wanted to do, because I haven't entirely noticed if people were looking at that somewhat properly or not. Okay, so another great haul for the horses. You can say it about now, so far we are... Is there some kind of hotkey in the switching to other player, like there is in Age of Empires 2? Fast speed, slower speed, spectate player 1, control 1, okay. Set view to selected unit player, shift enter. How about shift click? Okay, that's not possible apparently. Well, that sucks. I mean, like, why is that not included? It's actually quite a nice tool. In Age of Empires 2, if you're gonna be clicking shift, holding shift and clicking, you're gonna be switching into the point of view of the specific player. You're gonna be clicking a unit or building upon. Like, why is that not included? When you have the experience from the other games. But whatever the case, that's maybe therefore gonna be having to lift it therefore and switching through the control groups, I guess. Wait, it's not even working. Spectate player 1. Control 1. Well, that's not working for sure. Okay. So apparently hotkeys are not working for spectating. At least those that I would be liking to use here. So I guess it's gonna be also good to test. And good testing, as it looks like it. Therefore, Villagers, 55 villagers. That's, by the way, on the hit points, I wanted to look at that. That's lower by like 10 hit points, if I'm not mistaken, right? And otherwise, the defenses, that seems to be somewhat same-ish as the original game. But yeah, 10 villages reduction is definitely gonna be making them a bit easier to pick off. So you're gonna be apparently having some classic scouting on the left side here, already underway. But frankly, even here, even though I've turned on everything that I could, seems like it's just like the lower textures, graphics, is basically the thing making everything so ugly that even the other improvements are not entirely making everything too much better. It's at least slightly nicer, I guess. But yeah, for example, the buildings are definitely looking quite a bit bland still. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to figure out how to actually keep the setting in there because it doesn't want to be saving for some reason. However, otherwise, how can we tell when the upgrades are actually applied to units? That's what I will be right now interested in. Can we tell? Or just like switching the numbers? We are going to be having, of course, got powers there, sure. Resources, like some kind of comparison. But nothing too specific here. Scorch of the Skies passive switches to range attack to fight flying units, sure. And Sacred Hands, so we can be picking off, of course, the upgrades or upgrades relics from the map. Yeah, I think right about now the selection, of course, or even just like I was having hover up, yeah. Selection and hover up, apparently. I'm thinking that maybe hover up is gonna be better for the spectating as far as, for example, the range of things. Kinda depends now. If there are gonna be too many of them, maybe I just gonna want to be really clicking the alt. During the gameplay, it's gonna be, of course, quite a bit different on that. Gonna be having some decent raid in here, apparently to the south here, from Mr. Husksape. How is he looking on the villages? 37 currently for Matador, and we're gonna be having 45 already for Supe. Seems like he's gonna be a bit up, but nonetheless on the overall army, seems that so far we are gonna be a bit up for Matadoros. So that's why he's gonna be having a few more units. Okay, I just need to be going, of course, left side. There they are. And there we go. Wow. Okay, that is an interesting special attack for the troll. At least before he died, he did something useful this time around. Cavalry is gonna be... That's not medium yet, right? Medium hoplite. Okay, we're gonna be keeping what inside. That's the... Okay, that's Ulfsak. It's gonna be so hard to get used to the different pictures and everything along those lines for the possible spectating. Still gonna be having some decent food around here. Even... No, well... Hyena's not entirely certain about that. That's a hyena, right? Yeah, that's a hyena. With Pygmalion statue actually being here and not picked up. Come on, boys. Apparently... Yeah, nothing learned from Buble, of course, nothing changed still. Ankofra, what is it? Half? what is it, 0.05. It's gonna be per second, probably. I'm gonna be assuming. Funny Liquid, he was asking like a half an hour ago. I was kinda having some issues at the very start as well, so I guess maybe there are some kind of slight problems regarding the custom games. Can we tell economical upgrades on the units, for example? And on the villages? There. Ah, okay, so it's gonna be the same. Applied upgrades in here. So you have to be going through here. That's... like, why? If you're gonna be making special user interface for observing, are we imagining you want to be having that selected and like shown somewhere on the user interface instead of having to click in? Like... I'm just observing at this point. Because... it seems like that apparently we're gonna be allowed to observe further. Not sure if it's basically we are having the preloaded, recorded game. I guess it's gonna be something along those lines, most probably. I did reduce, yes, 30, okay. Seems to be kind of like expecting the attack on the dwarves on the left side, but considering that we have practically the full army, as El Matador is going for the raw power, then Raleigh actually Super should be the one going for some raise. He's gonna be having some opportunity here in the midst, as definitely lacking protection here. Some new lumber camp or lumber camp storehouse to the right will be definitely useful for him. No, and topwards, not entirely enough of an army in my opinion for some kind of direct assault. Got powers, we are still having what? Undermine apparently. But wait a second. Yeah, this doesn't show actually the usage, right? Because he did use Bolt at the very start, I remember that, against the myth unit. So this also kinda sucks in the user interface apparently. So sure, you do see what he could be getting, but you don't see if he can get it. No, well. So far the user interface here is definitely underwhelming. That's almost like level of Age of Empires 4, so complete trash. You at least having right now the comparisons, but otherwise just like the information is just like so bad here. Immediate upgrades into copper armor and copper weapons. Alright. Gonna be getting also some mountain giant. So Jotuns at this point are gonna be called, of course, in Retold. And it's gonna be at least attempting to get a TC. No, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be succeeding too well, at least all the way to the right side. We're gonna be getting a few trees. Apparently a lot more trees. They're gonna be apparently 10 instead of what we were used to before. And is he gonna be able to get some further hero? Doesn't seem to be having Q or anything else. At least currently. Undermine, of course, onto the TC. Making good sense. Maybe he could have been actually casting it to the right. I'm assuming that Undermine is gonna be working on any buildings, right? Yes. So it's the same as we have it on Google, as we changed it. Stanceter, of course, is gonna be getting destroyed. No, and considering he doesn't have a second one currently, El Matador, that might be some kind of challenge for him currently. Looking at the villages, 53-47, so he's still somewhat like fine now. But that heroic could be... this may be a bit of a game changer. Because at this point he's having a problem, he can't be getting new hero, right? So this is definitely a moment for Husksape to spam the myth units as much as he can. Husksape, what was that? Upgrade. I'm gonna need the messages for what is actually being upgraded so that I don't miss it. Special animation that was reserved for the dwarves. Unfortunately at this point. Diluted for all the units. What was the hit points? Build status messages, that's probably what I want. Okay, and it's gonna be apparently overlapping with that. This already reminds me of extended edition user interface on Observe, which is also quite a bit of a pain as far as the overlap of the chat and the icons. Yeah, this definitely wasn't like, what the hell? This doesn't seem like any kind of thought was put into this at all. I'm hoping there's gonna be some kind of much better version for the release, because this is really disappointing. It's kind of like basic, serviceable, but nothing great. Could be even saying almost that the commands you have in Age of Mythology on the original game are slightly nicer, but nonetheless at least the resources are cool. That's basically something that is an improvement on the original game. But yeah, those kind of things and the upgrades that needs to be definitely fixed for some proper understanding and proper casting on top of it as well. Gold seems to be already running out, 1000 left. He's gonna be having a forward one. No, that's not entirely too great, because obviously it's not entirely holding that much of a control over that ground, as it looks like at the Jotun here. I'm gonna be probably calling them the original Age of Mythology way, because simply why not? And it's gonna be more natural for me for probably a long time. Not going to be able to get a victory. Probably should be putting a few villages to work on repairs, not to be leaving it open. As of course, some myth units could be very soon coming back in. No, but it looks like Haxape wasn't able to utilize this open window when he could be abusing the myth units, and therefore he's gonna be back where we kind of were. However, Matador, I was looking at his resources, not entirely too close to get into Heroic Age. He's massively overfloating on both gold and wood. So at this point I'll be recommending building a market and buying the food for the advance. So yeah, I'm really expecting market is gonna be completely stupid idea, because it is stupid idea ruining the game in Age of Empires 2 and Age of Empires 4. For some reason in AoE 2, even though everybody complains about it, it's not being nerfed. I don't know why. What is the agenda of the devs in there? But like everybody knows that it's broken. And for some reason it's not being touched. And in AoE 4, well, yeah, trading is also considered quite a bit cancerous. Trading strats. So why not introduce it into Age of Mythology in such a way as well, right? I guess. What could happen? What could happen? I'm thinking especially with the Norse it's gonna be quite a bit easy. Because with the dwarves being so easy to get a gold quickly for you, it's gonna be having quite some potential there. No, what you mentioned, right? These forward gold mines are gonna be definitely not sufficient enough. So happy that he's gonna be at least right now on the right side. And if you're gonna be switching to Matadoro and normal, then he sees the gold, but he's not really paying attention too much. So he has blocked gold mines on the left side. Okay, he's gonna be going with everything to the right. That seems to be a bit overreaction. Should be just gonna like send in a few archers to check that out. And if it's gonna be true, then he can just gonna like send everything else and kill him if it's gonna be too many dwarves there at one place. Kinda nice economy building at this point from Super. 70 against 52. Are we gonna be seeing advance into the next age, by the way, in the user interface here somehow? I'm hoping we will. Apparently El Matador has already invested, no, thinking he invested into the extra TC. Now he's finally checking out the gold mine. Good tower, thank you very much. Somebody actually thinking logically. Because at this point he needs to be protecting the gold mines at all costs. He's at least right now secured the one in the middle to a degree. But he certainly needs to be spread out as well. Thinking that also red should be a bit more scout in the left one. Seems like there's at least right now one archer. Having a look what possibly could be happening here. And of course Huskaros are gonna be a bit of a problem straight into archers. No, Matador, at this point he seems to be a bit too stuck in classical already. I mean, like with 23 minutes and he's still in. At this point he's gonna be already feeling the missing of Hippa's fists. Because of course the Huskaros are gonna be really hard to deal with normal units. And it shows only the player in the spectating on the range. And not the enemy. Another, of course, problem and imperfection in the spectating. I mean, like, just like, I look at it for a few minutes. and just gonna see how trash it is to spectate in. So if people were hoping that Capture Age are gonna be doing something good here, so far they're severely disappointed. Because it's really on the level of like basic one for Age of Empires 4. Which really isn't good. Dearly hoping they are working on something much better for release. Because this definitely wouldn't be enough. I mean, like, sure, it's better than original, I could say, almost, or always, but I think you will be having probably some slightly different goals in mind in this game. At least that's what they are letting on. And Pygmalion statue still just kinda chilling around, 40% extra hit points on the villages. Nah, you don't need that. We don't need that in the game at all. Absolutely not, those 20 extra hit points or how many. Nobody has any need of that. But apparently gonna be switching therefore into Minotauros. Haven't entirely noticed, I mean like he's still in the classical, but it seems like I've noticed mentioned that apparently mythical units can scale across ages. And if you're gonna be advancing into like the heroic, then the Minotaurs are gonna be also getting stronger. Which is kinda like a bit of a weird mechanism in my opinion, because I don't think it's really needed. Not like people are making actually myth units from the previous ages too much, but that's because they are simply bad players and not utilizing what is at their disposal. Because for example in the original game, even something like Bull Minotaur is really excellent for even late game. You're just gonna need to be not locked in your mind that it's Mythical Age and therefore you're gonna be making only Mythical Age units. Which unfortunately 99% people are, experts included. There are plenty of opportunities where simply getting something that for example doesn't cost gold is so damn useful. But players just like never gonna be having the idea. Because they're just gonna used to play in the wrong way. And insisting that is the correct one. So we'll see if maybe now here, and this is gonna be nudging them on using more of it. No, but of course without the Hippospis, at least gonna be having the counter of course with the Minotaurs. That was a good thinking here for Matador, at least some kind of help. Because obviously that's, yeah, not entirely something that heavy Huskars are gonna be the best against. So what do we have? Triple copper, bronze shields on top of it as well, and heavy infantry. As far as the upgrade goes, but yeah, kinda like in the advance with the towers. By the way, is there a limit to them? Or are they unlimited this time? Tough to say. Doesn't seem to be showing anything here anywhere. For the enemy, not gonna be probably having too many things, but he does have at least double copper upgrades already on him as well. With bronze coming up, that certainly makes sense, but I'm thinking he should have been maybe... Yeah, that was a bit weird commitment, I'm thinking. He just can like attack move forward into the enemy. What he should have done is taken the archers and move them slightly forward, so that when the opponent is gonna be running away, you're gonna be getting like maybe 2 shots extra for free. Before he's gonna be reacting properly. So that's something that could have helped. And you can see bronze really just like a half a minute. It used to be a minute and a half, which was actually what was making them great. He's still raiding here. Seems nice creations is right about now working. But this is a fairly nice side build here from Supe. At this point I'm thinking it's quite a bit clearer that Supe is quite a bit ahead here. 100 villages, it's gonna be somewhat similar, not too different at this point from Matador. Astrovinaxemanos. No. Minotaur having what statistics? 60 melee still, so they're gonna be probably quite decent tanks as they are, even in the original. Fortunately they didn't get to utilize this special damage. Okay, on the economy, for example, where do we stand? Staff of Dionysus as a relic, then we do have baseline and second levels. Very nice for the opponent. The hidden farms here. In the okay. Not palm, villager pills. That's going to be there for second levels, basically. Don't have the third ones yet. No, well, guess you'll be liking to get a bit more into the next age yet. 1000, I guess better than nothing, as it looks like the Ulfis are gonna be probably getting prepared for maybe some kind of market. He can be getting it from the top. A relic is for Trojan Gate Hinge. If he's going for a few of the walls, then probably would be useful to get it. But the other Hydras are getting the heads very quickly. What is the mechanism for them now? Grows heads as it fights enemy units. Okay, so it might be probably based on damage there for this time or something. Because, isn't it in the original based on kill? I want to say that it's based on kill. Some kind of like mechanism like that. But here they're definitely getting it faster. Or maybe it's the same gear still, and they just like have much higher percentage of success on that. Could be. Was blocking gold, good, yeah. I'm kind of wondering why Super hasn't started a trade yet. Possibly could have been also trade started right now by the bottom player. I mean, like, I've just now noticed the economy that Super has. Jesus Christ almighty. What is he doing with 6,000 food there? Talking about the caravans, right? What is the pop limit even for him? 235, he's not even top. 190 currently. Like, this is something that can lose you the game. Well, and practically even should lose you the game if you're gonna be playing so suboptimally. I mean, like, once he notices that, he can just gonna get, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 gold from the market. I mean, maybe he just like, no, finally, thank you. Maybe he didn't even have the market yet. Hydranos, what do we have as the bonuses? Heck armor, crash damage 15, okay. Okay, so they have crash damage, but no bonus against buildings, alright. So, yeah, well, kinda original, of course. It seems to be fairly solid control here. So what is the combination? Medium cavalry only on the Yaros, that's not entirely enough. Heavy throwing axemen, we're gonna be having some Sigurhart, that's gonna be the Gothis. By the way, the proper pronunciation for that is Gothi, not Godi. It's just kinda like made simpler, because they have the sign of like, when you have Thor, then it's not like the TH sound, it's kinda like the weird letter in the Norse alphabet, and that's the same instead of the D. So it's not supposed to be Godi, but Gothi. And that is certain why they chose to be going for the D when you have, for example, like an example of the Thor, for example, in the game as well. That well. That's how it is currently. A bit of Idlenos, but that's fine, I guess. Protection on the right, why not? And Nidhogg is gonna be having some flyovers, it looks like. Still the villager with the spies, by the way, on. Alright, nice side build, possibly. Nice dodge. Very nice dodge indeed. It would be kind of nice if also, for example, the trees were kind of moving in the wind. I guess it would be a bit too much of a graphic real estate. Probably can't be hiding the user interface here, right? Yeah. Doesn't seem like that. Oh, so that's what the screen shake is about, when the buildings are getting destroyed, So that's the setting in the options. That was a very underwhelming graphic of that soul going into Valhalla. Yeah, definitely much nicer in the original game, as far as the effect goes. But we don't have any kind of way to really heal here, so therefore, much of a purpose right now to hide in the Hydras. Maybe he could be just gonna get in the restoration, but considering how weak and bad we have seen it actually to be, then probably nothing too major. could be done about that. Should be kinda getting rid of that, Mr. Matadoro. Some kind of Helepolis or Petrobolos definitely needs to be right now taking care of that. So otherwise on the left side, gold is gonna be inconsequential and we are moving forward with Ox Caravans, yes. Maybe he was kinda looking forward to get the rest of the gold, but apparently won't be entirely allowed. No, and with the switch into so many hill forts or kind of fortresses in the middle, it's gonna be becoming harder and harder therefore for blue to make some kind of and take some kind of proper control of the gold gathering. We certainly need to be going forward also to check that out with El Matador. By the way, Super still floating as much as he can, apparently. 145 against 210 currently. And this is kind of like certainly the stage of the game where I'm really thinking that, oh, actually he does have a lot of favor currently, El Matador. He just kind of doesn't have the economy to support that as well. I was going to say that maybe could be some kind of advantage above the Norse, because once the Norse is not able to get some kind of great fights, then you do have a chance on him, for sure. Okay, some small hero raiding. I guess why not? I was kind of thinking that maybe the sounds and music can be going still a bit lower. For some kind of proper experience. However, Nidogenio, where do you stand? No, already 366 hit points. Who actually killed him? I mean, like, there wasn't any kind of hero nearby as far as I remember. But yeah, he pretty dead, yeah. Seems like maybe he's just gonna be having high attack, but yeah, the fortress is just absolutely destroying him. So building fire apparently is gonna be pretty good against him still. Which is a bit disappointing, at least maybe he's gonna be able to do some kind of more damage. And there was maybe Odysseus at least dealing with him somehow. Now at this point practically like the game ending situation is when Matador is gonna be able to of course get himself somewhere into the trade and stop it. Right now at least the favor is gonna be quite a bit useful for the extra bronze. Maybe even the restoration somewhere down the line he could be casting it upon, he's having plenty for it. 100 favor, he's gonna be needing for the next one. Yeah, that should be also showing how much favor he needs, like immediately without a rollover help. Again, the interface is so bad here. So, not thought through, not sure why. It's like, these are things that you basically see at first sight. Just have a look and you know what you need to be doing, and it's nothing too complicated either. But whatever the case, it seems like that maybe there's gonna be some side build into some Jotuns, maybe. Oh well, he's gonna be needing to get some favor, and it's of course a huge problem currently, because he's having constantly losing battles, and you can't be getting favor at this point from buildings, right? As a Norse, which is a very odd change. And I'm thinking, kinda like a bit detrimental to the gameplay, but nonetheless, GG is gonna be in, and suddenly we can actually move around quite a bit freely. So I wonder if maybe the game was lagging for the players as well. And if it was therefore lag from the spectating and lag from the players. Because now suddenly we can be moving around quite a bit freely. But that's also because plenty of things are not gonna be. Like it wasn't because of our computer. Nothing was being taxed. So it's weird. But well, nonetheless, looked like a decently started game somewhere maybe 20 minutes ago for Husksape. But El Matador in the end did prevail. I'm thinking he hung in the Classical Age for maybe a bit too long. He kinda missed the Heroic Age time in there and complicated things for himself. And he was definitely missing those Hippaspis. But luckily the idea with the Minotaurs was exactly what was needed against the Huscarl army that Husksape prepared for him. And that's what gave him the chance to continue playing. But again, just like not collecting relics like Pygmalion statue, just no excuse whatsoever for that. It's such a brokenly good relic that you simply need to get it every opportunity you have. So I guess let's therefore have a look on the gatherers and some upgrades that they were having. Can say it now. Leather armor on them. That's the one. Yes. Hit points and damage. Bowsaw query. Flat control on top of it. It's a random picture. Guess some guy letting the flood in. Red villages are going to be. Oh, that's an archer. Wait, what? That was an archer somewhere in there? Wait, what? That's not a hoplite, please. Okay, that's some kind of weird artifact if you're gonna be on the enemy player and he's not having the line of sight on that, then it's gonna be thinking that the last unit that was on that place was a hoplite that he saw. And even if we are revealed, that doesn't entirely register. Oh, okay. Wow. That's also kind of brutal on spectating. It's something you need to be therefore aware of if you're gonna be trying to spectate some games. Well, that's fun. But nonetheless, Villagers are gonna be there for having what on them? Apparently, of course, the ballistics, leather armor as well, bowsaw with shaft mine, so second levels and first on farming only with husbandry. So definitely a few things missing here for some long game and later game. Then on the military. That's not a heavy throwing axeman, of course. That's gonna start with Husksape. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of bad actually to use, therefore. This kind of bug, or if it is bug or whatnot. But first copper and then bronze with heavy infantry. And on El Matador, heavy Toxotai, you can say now just the copper upgrades as well. He was at least having levy, which is nice. Now the Age of Empires 2 player, right? Used to conscription from the game, so he's gonna be more likely to have it. Makes sense. Okay, so what does the ballistics do? Fortifications fire more accurately at moving enemy targets. Now that's great news, but we need to be, of course, some proper testing what it exactly does. View post game in the middle, okay. Okay, so something funny here. Total military resource value. Huh. Gonna be having to get used to what this graph actually is gonna be useful for. Because it's gonna be potentially different between civilizations. So therefore this might not be entirely that relevant. Or you kind of will be having to learn what kind of differences are relevant, rather, let's put it that way. Idle villages, we know that they are broken, at least it looks to me. Again, like no way Matadors have 50 idle villages, right? It's just like favor gatherers for some reason are idle and not considered working. That's gonna have to be fixed. Otherwise he was having a bit of a problem in here. That was exactly where it looked like that Husksape could be therefore out-echoing him and therefore also overall defeating him. That heroic age was very late at 26 minutes. Needs to be kind of like making sure the timings are probably gonna be different from the original game. As in original game, you want to be usually hitting about like 18 minutes max for the heroic age or somewhere in that territory. And if you're gonna be over, you usually already should be worried because things are going bad for you. Or rather, you need to be aware that they might be getting way worse because opponent, of course, will be getting some technological advantage if he plays well. So yeah, this is something to look forward to. Age of Mythology is kind of game of timings. Military units. No, well, he was gonna like long-term having a lot more. And this is, by the way, there for numbers. Yeah, I was kinda hoping they're gonna be showing pop limit on that. We need a pop limit graph for this. Like, really? That's also not added in. That's really one that is completely missing in the original game. And with the higher pop limits on the myth units, for example, this is just like not telling you the whole story. And it's usually not too helpful. You just usually need to be and want to be looking at the pop limit overall usage. Oh well, that's a disappointment therefore. Probably nothing else to be seen here too much. Yes, it was a bit of a critical moment. It was exactly kind of like the time where if Loki was having good opportunity, was he even favored at that point? Ah, he actually wasn't. Just kind of like was straight after the heroic age, so he wasn't having the favor to be able to build up, of course, on that, since the opponent couldn't be getting heroes. So he'll be just like sitting duck to a few myth units. Well, that's a shame. So he apparently couldn't do anything about it, just at that exact moment. No, and all resources collected. There is a fairly healthy difference here. Nah. Come on, even original Age of Mythology is gonna be showing on this point how many resources it is if you're gonna be hovering over the line on the graph. How can you be making such simple things worse than the original? Like, do you not even like look at the original game and improve on that? Or did you just kind of like discard it and start anew? Because it frankly feels a lot like that with all the changes they have made. Ah, you need to be clicking in. So thank you at least for that. So gonna be right now stopping my rant at least for the time being. But it would be nice to be having it also real time. So at least this is in. Can you kind of like move it? Yes, you can kind of grab it, I guess, and move around. So that's at least something. I'll be happier if you could be just having the life one, but nonetheless, this is something you can get used to, I guess. But again, like, no reason not to be having the hover. But you can say right now the difference is quite a bit large. 17,000 difference, and it still wasn't anything good there for him. And any good. More gold. Even when he wasn't trading too much, he was kind of trading at the end. Please give me the trade number here. Why is it not there? Can we... Okay, that's just like ordering. But at this point you can't see the trade amount. It's in every single Age of game. Why is it not here? Because that's good to know. And quite a bit important to see where the economy is actually coming from. Just armies, units killed, villages killed. Sure, I guess. You don't have units lost for some reason here. And I was gonna maybe hoping for myth units, possibly. Also be like an extra information, because it also can be skewing the results. Maybe can be also doing like pop kill. It might be also interesting statistic. 340 with Loki. Yeah, 4 minutes for Matador. Looks like the fast advances are. Oh, again, with the 4th villager, you can just kind of like shave off those 20 seconds quite a bit easily from the build orders immediately. So that's probably what's going to happen. No, observing interface, very disappointing. Very, very. Was expecting a lot more, so I'm hoping this is just some kind of early version. But month before release, I wouldn't be too optimistic about too many improvements to it still, but hopefully. As there are plenty of things I'll be definitely doing differently. Okay, so GG, I guess. And by the way, they downloaded as a recorded game, therefore, into my list, or did it not? Yes, it did. 1759. Okay, so it is basically like a recorded game into the game itself. Okay. So gonna be having to keep an eye on that.